everybody, it's the Soap Man here. I've been out of the picture for a few weeks, and real truth is I just had more soap made up than what I needed, but now I'm getting low. I'm going to make some more. I'm going to make a pretty simple one this morning. I'm going to make, I guess it's a variation of the confetti, where you just take various bars of soap and shave them down with a cheese grater, but instead of actually confetti, I shaved them on, let's see if you can see it, this side of the cheese grater, where it's more like a knife. And instead of the real thin confetti, it got slices like this, big slices. Let me move this out of the way just a minute and talk about what I'm using. This was just, typical multicolor, using my regular recipe. I don't know how well that color is coming through, but that's, just pretty typical. These other two were an experiment. This was tallow that I rendered myself, and generally we know food coloring does not work well in cold processed soap. It tends to fade. But this was Wilton's food coloring, which held up remarkably well in cold processed soap. But only a couple of colors did. The pink holds up remarkably well. The yellow holds up remarkably well. This lavender, if it comes to lavender, it's a really vivid lavender, was really unexpected. This was actually a very sky blue food coloring I put in. As soon as I put it in, the oils with the lye in it instantly turned gray. As it set up, it turned white. The very next morning, it had just a very, very hint of lavender, and all throughout the day, I checked it each hour, it became more and more vivid lavender. Really strange how it went from blue to gray to white, and then slowly, hour by hour, turned into this really nice lavender. So I mixed the three of those together. Now I actually had way more than what I needed, so what I'm probably going to do is go ahead. I had already mixed my oils and lye up, so what I'm probably going to do is go ahead and do a batch today. I'll go ahead and do another batch tomorrow with a different colored top. So let's get started. Here we go. Get you in the picture here. My lye is already mixed, it's already cooled, it's cloudy because I always put Testa silk into it, so that's why it's cloudy. We're going to go ahead and pour this in here. This is my standard recipe: 15 ounces coconut oil, 15 ounces olive oil, 4.8 ounces lye, and 10 ounces of water. Now, normally I add an extra super fat with the colors, which I'm not doing this time. I want to put an extra super fat in here. People don't cringe, just I know what I'm doing. I've done it enough. This is pure castor oil. I'm putting just a little extra castor oil in there to give this a nice super fat. Nice on the skin. And let's go ahead and make some noise and mix it up just to a thin trace, just to get it emulsified. That's a pretty good emulsification. I'm satisfied with that. Just set this aside for a minute. Now I'm going to want the bulk of this to be the white and just a little bit on the top for the color. So I'm going to actually just pour a small amount off into this other container, which is going to have the color in it for the top. Okay, now I'm not even going to color this. I'm going to leave, my soap normally has a very white color. I'm going to try it just like it is. I hope I'm not sorry, I don't think I will be. I'm going to whip this up to a very thick trace, very thick. And then I'm going to put all the shaved soap into it. put all these colors into it and mix them up. And get it into the mold. This is not quite thick enough to support a nice top, so I'm going to go ahead and pour it, and it'll sit for just a little while and thicken up some more. I was hoping this would be quite a bit thicker. Than what it is. Okay, set that aside. And let this sit for just a little while, get some air bubbles out. I think this is going to be a really nice looking bar of soap. Let me talk for just a minute. Okay, you see the bag on my hand? All the preparation in the world. I've tried to be well prepared, and I generally am. I forgot to bring rubber gloves home today. I generally don't recommend doing this, but in this instance, when I'm working with hot lye, this is better than nothing, okay? This is better than no protection at all. And actually, my hand is completely covered. I'm just not as flexible. Okay. This, I'm going to let sit for just a minute while this other thickens up a little bit more. What I'm going to do is, and this is going to be the top, and I'm going to use Brambleberry's Ultramarine Violet, okay? Generally, let's talk about the super fat. Mine has a high presence of coconut oil, which I like. It gives a good cleansing. It gives the excellent lather that I love, and the people who use my soap love it. It's generally recommended not to use more than a third of your recipe with coconut oil because it cleans so well. It can actually strip oils from your skin. So if you use more than that, you're usually recommended to put a high superfat in. Generally, I do that by adding lots of colors. I will usually add a tablespoon of oil to 1 teaspoon of coloring and mix it up, and that adds, 3 or 4 colors. That adds quite a good bit of extra superfat. In this instance, because I'm not adding any color to the white, and I'm only adding 1 color to this, and because I'm going to have to stick blend it really well, I'm not even going to mix it. I'm going to put the powder directly into the soap and mix it up, so there's not going to be any superfat. That's why I just poured extra castor oil into it to give it a heavier superfat. Okay, this is starting to thicken up already. That's good. I think we're just about ready to move on. Let's go ahead and do it. Normally, I would use a teaspoon, but because this is a smaller batch, I'm going to use a half a teaspoon, and then if I need more, I can always add to it. I don't want to have soap colors bleeding all over the place. If this isn't enough, I'll add more to it. Now, this is the first time I've used this ultramarine, so we're going to see what it looks like. I'm going to put a heaping half a teaspoon in that, and then give it a good heavy stick blending. Because I'm going to want this nice and thick too. Yeah, this looks nice. Yep, this is nice and firm. I think it'll support this top really well. Because I do want it to just sit on top of there. I don't want it to actually go beneath this. So I'm going to take this thick paste with a spoon and gently lay it on here. And hopefully it won't pierce through. And if it does pierce through, well, you know, hey, I'm not perfect. If y'all have watched my videos before, you'll know that this is not a business, this is a hobby. I do it because I enjoy it, and I give my soap away to those who cannot otherwise afford a luxury bar of soap. It's a community church project. So they love it just the same, even some of the bars that are not perfect. I'm going to show you one here in just a few minutes when I get this all fixed up. I do like this ultramarine violet. Alright, let's let that sit for just a minute and thicken up, and I'll put a top on this. All this waste, all this extra soap, all that's in the pot here, all of this, all that's in here, if you watched my video before, you'll know what I do is just let this sit tonight, go ahead and turn into soap. I'm going to put in a great big bucket, fill it full of hot water, and I'll have enough concentrated soap to wash the car. I'm from West Virginia. You may have seen West Virginia on the news here recently. The vast majority of the state the last 2 days has been inundated by terrible, terrible, savage rains and flooding. Devastating. A lot of people have been killed, unfortunately. I'm from Cabell County, West Virginia. We have been hit very hard by rain, but our damage was very, very minimal. Ours was one of the few counties that was not declared a disaster zone by the governor. So very fortunate for that. I'm just terribly sorry for those who've lost their lives, lost their property. But I do have 2 very filthy cars, filthy, filthy cars because of the torrential rains that we've had. So I'm going to do another batch of this tomorrow. So I'll have 2 batches of this soap left over tomorrow, and that will give 2 good car washings. That's usually what I do with my leftover soap like this. Now, let's see. I'm not real good at this. I see people who do these tops and make them look so nice. I'm just kind of so-so at it. But once again, this is not a hobby. I mean, this is not a business. This is a hobby. Just want to give somewhat of a texture without punching that down into the center. Still just a little bit liquidy, so I don't want to push too hard. Actually, that's all I'm going to do. That's good enough. I'm going to like that. Once again, I'm going to let all these just sit overnight, saponify into soap, soak them in a big bucket of hot water, and wash the car. So that makes it a lot easier to clean up too. Tomorrow, I'm going to do another one of these with a different colored top and use the rest of that. So I'll probably go ahead and post both making and both cutting videos at the same time. So it'll probably be Monday when I see you all. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye.